Welcome back to Car Show 1, the home of horsepower, heritage, and the pursuit of pure performance. Today, we're stepping back into one of the most brutal, unapologetic, and thrilling cars America has ever produced, the 1997 Dodge Viper GTS. This isn't just a car, it's an icon of raw power and fearless design. In a world now filled with electric silence and driving assists, the Viper GTS reminds us of a time when cars demanded respect, and when driving was an adrenaline-fueled experience that tested both man and machine. Let's dive deep into this American legend, the 1997 Dodge Viper GTS, a car that was born to intimidate, designed to dominate, and engineered to excite every sense. When Dodge first unleashed the Viper in 1992, it was a shocking statement. There were no airbags, no traction control, no anti-lock brakes, just a massive V10 engine and a promise of raw, unfiltered power. It was Chrysler's way of proving that America could still build a supercar capable of going toe-to-toe with the Ferraris and Lamborghinis of the world. But by 1997, Dodge had refined the beast just enough to make it more usable without losing its wild character. That's where the Viper GTS came in, the coupe that became the most beloved and collectible version of all. Visually, the 1997 Dodge Viper GTS was stunning. Its design was inspired by the Shelby Daytona coupe, blending muscle and elegance in perfect harmony. The long, sculpted hood stretched endlessly forward, with bold air intakes and a power bulge that screamed aggression. The roofline flowed beautifully into a fastback tail, giving it that unmistakable racing silhouette. And those signature dual white racing stripes running over the deep blue body, that became an instant icon. When you saw that blue GTS with stripes in the rearview mirror, you knew something serious was coming. The car's proportions were outrageous, impossibly long hood, wide stance, and curves that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Every vent, bulge, and curve had a purpose. The side exhausts of the early RT-10 model were replaced with cleaner rear exit pipes, reducing cabin heat and refining the sound profile. Still, the Viper looked and sounded like nothing else on the road. It wasn't trying to be pretty, it was powerful, purposeful, and intimidating. Step inside, and you entered a cockpit designed for one thing: driving. The interior of the 1997 Viper GTS was a big step forward from the earlier models. You got real windows, a proper roof, air conditioning, and better insulation. But make no mistake, it was still a bare-bones performance machine. The dash layout was simple, with white-faced gauges and a large tachometer front and center. Everything was focused toward the driver. The seats were snug and supportive, covered in black leather, and the steering wheel was thick, heavy, and mechanical in feel. No luxury gimmicks here, just the essentials for pure, old-school performance. Under that impossibly long hood sat the heart of the beast, a monstrous 8.0-liter V10 engine. This aluminum block powerhouse was developed in collaboration with Lamborghini, who at that time was owned by Chrysler. It produced 450 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, numbers that in the late 90s were jaw-dropping. The engine wasn't about refinement, it was about brute strength. When you fired it up, it didn't purr, it growled. The exhaust note was deep, rough, and unapologetically American. With all that power going straight to the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual transmission, the 1997 Viper GTS could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4 seconds, and hit a top speed of around 185 miles per hour. But more than the numbers, it was how it delivered that power, instantly, brutally, and with no electronic safety nets to save you if you got careless. You had to respect the Viper, or it would bite. That's part of what made it so thrilling. Every drive felt like a test of skill, courage, and connection. The chassis and handling of the 1997 Viper GTS were surprisingly advanced for its time. It featured a tubular steel frame with composite body panels to keep weight down, and a fully independent suspension system with double wishbones front and rear. The GTS model also had improved rigidity compared to the earlier Roadster, which helped make it a much sharper and more stable car on the track. The steering was heavy but precise, giving the driver constant feedback. It wasn't forgiving, but when you got it right, it rewarded you with pure magic. Braking was handled by massive 4-wheel discs, which were powerful but required a strong foot. No abs meant you had to modulate everything manually. The tires, massive Michelin Pilot Sports, provided incredible grip but would punish you if you pushed too hard. Driving a 1997 Viper GTS fast wasn't easy. It demanded your full attention, and that's exactly why enthusiasts loved it. On the track, the Viper GTS was a monster. In fact, it was the foundation for the Viper GTS R race car, which went on to win multiple international championships, including its class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1998. That racing success added even more credibility to the GTS name and cemented the car's legacy as more than just an American muscle car. It was a true world-class supercar. The 1997 model also introduced something special, the double bubble roof, designed to give extra headroom for drivers wearing helmets during track use. That detail became one of the Viper's signature styling cues and showed that even though it looked wild, every part of the design served a real purpose. Despite its raw nature, the Viper GTS offered a surprisingly refined driving experience compared to the original RT10. The closed cabin made highway driving quieter and more comfortable, and the suspension tuning offered better ride quality on normal roads. Still, the Viper never pretended to be a grand tourer. It was a purebred sports car, and it wanted to be driven hard. What made the 1997 Dodge Viper GTS so special was its spirit. It was built during a time when cars were starting to become safer, softer, and more computerized. But the Viper refused to follow that path. It was a reminder of the golden age of driving, when the connection between driver and machine was everything. There were no traction systems, no driving aids, no filters between you and the car. If you made a mistake, you paid for it, but if you mastered it, the reward was unlike anything else. Today, the 1997 Dodge Viper GTS is seen as the purest version of the Viper formula. It captured that perfect balance between old-school muscle and modern engineering. Collectors and enthusiasts still consider it one of the greatest American sports cars ever built. Its design has aged beautifully, its performance still impresses, and its driving experience remains unmatched in its intensity. From the sound of the engine to the shape of its curves, everything about the 1997 Viper GTS feels iconic. It's not just fast, it's full of character. It represents a time when Dodge dared to be bold, when American engineering stood tall, and when drivers craved emotion over perfection. If you ever get the chance to drive one, you'll instantly understand why it's loved. The moment you press the clutch, grab the heavy gear lever, and let that V10 roar to life, it's an experience that stays with you forever. The world may be moving toward quiet, efficient electric cars, but the Viper GTS will always be a symbol of untamed power and pure mechanical beauty. The 1997 Dodge Viper GTS is more than a car, it's a statement. A statement that performance is about passion, not perfection. That driving should thrill you, challenge you, and remind you that you're alive. Thank you for watching Car Show 1, where we celebrate the legends that define speed and emotion. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1997 Dodge Viper GTS, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us what you think. Should Dodge ever bring back the Viper in an electric form, or should it remain a symbol of pure combustion glory? Until next time, keep your engines roaring, your hearts racing, and remember, true legends never die. They just wait for the next open road.